Hi, I'm Lowell Gentry. I'm a research agronomist. I'm looking at ways of trying to keep nitrate in the field, keep it from moving from fields to streams. In this video, I want to talk about soil nitrogen mineralization and the impact of the carbon and nitrogen ratio of plant residues and how that affects plant available N and also tile nitrate loss. Soil N mineralization is a very important process to farmers because, for example, corn absorbs about 50% of its total nitrogen from the soil N mineralization process. By definition, soil N mineralization is the microbial conversion of organic nitrogen to inorganic N forms, such as ammonium and nitrate. Weather can have a very large influence on soil N mineralization. For example, the amount of soil moisture and soil temperature has a great effect on microbial metabolism, therefore the rate of nitrate formation. When we talk about mineralization of nitrogen, we're really talking about net N mineralization, meaning the difference between mineralization and nitrogen immobilization. Soil microorganisms prefer a 24-to-1 ratio of carbon to nitrogen. That keeps them perfectly in balance. They don't need any extra nitrogen if it's 24-to-1. But if it's greater than 24-to-1, their food source then would be considered carbon rich or nitrogen poor, and they're going to have to then grab some soil nitrate. That's immobilization. So that actually reduces plant available nitrogen. When the ratio is 24-to-1, there is no net mineralization nor any net immobilization. The microbe is satisfied. Earlier in my career, I used to think immobilization of nitrogen was a negative because if there's immobilization, there's less plant available N, and that could ultimately hurt corn yields. So I've had to change my mind when I realize that over time that the importance of immobilization is that it could be thought of as synonymous with soil carbon sequestration, because we can't bank carbon without banking some nitrogen. If carbon is added to the system, then less nitrogen will be liberated and potentially lost to tiles. In fact, carbon is the key to soil health and also nutrient retention. The more carbon we can add, the more nitrogen will be tied up and the less there will be available to be lost to tiles. So can we increase soil carbon and have enough plant available N to maximize crop yield? Corn residue has a very wide C to N ratio, as much as 70 or 80-to-1. And so when microorganisms like bacteria are eating corn residue, they're going to need nitrogen from the soil. And so corn residue has a very large immobilization potential. So although continuous corn receives nitrogen every year at a rate of about 200 pounds per acre based on MRTN, so every 2 years 400 pounds are entering into a continuous corn system, where in a corn-soybean rotation it's only 180 pounds every other year. Yet we did not lose more tile nitrate from continuous corn. Now that speaks volumes about the immobilization potential of the corn residue. That wide C to N ratio drives immobilization, and that keeps nitrate out of the tile. In this 2-year cycle of corn and soybean, corn is generally adding nitrogen to the system, where soybean is a net depleter of nitrogen. Even though soybean fixes most of its nitrogen from the atmosphere, the rich grain protein in soybean allows for more nitrogen to be removed with the grain than is actually fixed. That's why soybean is a net depleter of soil nitrogen. Even though it fixes N, it leaves less N behind. So why do we find tile nitrate after soybean? it's not so much the quality of the residue, because soybean residue also has a wide seed-N ratio, but it's the quantity of residue. There's 3 times more corn residue than soybean residue. In fact, we believe now that soybean is the weak link in carbon replenishment to the soil because of that less residue, and therefore we believe there is carbon limitation after soybean and the liberation of nitrate. And therefore nitrate can come from either mineralization or fertilizer. It's all available to be leached if there's enough moisture. And so we still find tile nitrate coming out following soybean. In summary, both the quantity and quality of crop residues influences net soil mineralization. High carbon to nitrogen ratio of corn residue clearly promotes nitrogen immobilization. Soil mineralization following soybean production can be potentially reducing our soil carbon over time, and that might be the source of tile nitrate following soybean. And we clearly need to tie up nitrate during the non-growing season, and cover crops might be the best strategy for addressing that leak that we have now identified.